the last one is about the Docker environment. As I mentioned, all this demonstration was done on the Docker environment, where the big advantage is that the environment can be quickly configured and established without installation on separate virtual machines, just by using one configuration. We are using Docker images which are provided by ENTSO-E in the private repository in the hub.docker.com. So this Docker Hub repository is like available for everyone, but you need to create an account to this Docker Hub and ask ENTSO-E, Christoph Montazzi, to grant you access to this repository to be able download the images for ECP endpoint and EDX toolbox. In the ECP and EDX, there are chapters regarding this Docker support in the chapter Docker support, and I will just quickly show you. The example of the configuration, and that's it. So,
just a little update. This presentation is a little bit outdated as this webinar was postponed. Right now, you should ask push vendor for access to the document. Just to be 100% correct.
Yeah, that's fine. So either push vendor, me or Christoph, it's okay. Yeah. So I mean.
Okay. Regarding the configuration of the Docker, this is done by the Docker compose.yaml. And when we will take a look on some component, let's take a look, for instance, the endpoint. You can see that you defined the image location. In this case, we are using the Docker Hub repository, so you don't need to specify the URL. The Docker Hub repository is default, and you just specify the image, so which is usually ENTSO-E, and image name is ECP endpoint :version, and this version is provided in the environment file. It is like some the dynamic configuration where you define the requested version for your Docker components, and then you just configure memory of your container, volumes which should be exposed from your Docker container to the Docker server, so you are able to access it, like the configuration files and FSSF and so on. And then this is the magic about the ports. As you saw, I was still using some weird ports. So this is the reason why, like you can see that we are using the port 2221 for IMQP port 5671. So this is the mapping, because on the Docker it's working like we are using one IP address, which is the IP address of the Docker server, and different ports. So this is the reason why we need to map different containers to different ports. And the last thing which needs to be defined is the IP address of your Docker container. And you will do the same for all the components. So I don't want to go through it. And using this one file, you can easily establish the environment by command docker compose down. When you want to shut down the environment, you will just write docker compose down. When you want to start it, you will write docker compose cat up, and you are also able to restart or list all the containers let's list all the containers, docker ps. So you can see all the Docker containers within this environment. And if I want to stop the endpoint, for instance, this service catalog, I can just use this ID and run command docker container stop ID of the container, and it will be stopped. I will not do it again, and then you can again start it using the same ID. So this is how to restart is done. And if you want to go, the last thing, if you want to go inside the container, we will use the command docker exec minus IT, and I think it's path to the bash. Right?
Mhm.
Okay, and here we are inside the,
Yeah, ls minus l.
yeah. So it's like, not sure as you know it from the virtual machines. So that's it. Okay, so that's all regarding the Docker. You can find the further information in the installation guide. The Docker composes are provided within the package from the
Yeah, if you
installation.
look at all Docker environment is like the folder,
Yeah,
databases configuration files, so we can just unzip the file and then just immediately start the Docker and
so I think the only thing you need to do is like to initiate maybe the component directory to register it to itself. No, it's already done. Okay, so you just started.
It's running on database and the database is provided within those files. So.
Great. So this is great opportunity how to establish some environment for testing purposes.
Yes,
Just use
the little basic environment. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's it.